So this is Sheila. Sheila is a little Jetta. She's gotten me through a lot. I stayed in this car periodically while I was kind of struggling with some housing. When it's really cold in Washington, staying in your car is not fun. And I remember not being able to sleep one night before my opening shift, which we opened at 4:30 in the morning. And I'm just like in my car, shivering and with a little like butterfly blanket. Starbucks, they knew the housing situation and they still fired me. After being fired and not having secured housing, it was a lot to figure out at freshly 18.
So end of August, I was on a medical leave of absence when I received a phone call from my district manager notifying me that I was terminated from the company immediately for opening a piece of mail. And within the day, we filed the ULP for unlawful termination in response to union activity.
So on July 5th, I went to open the store as I normally do, and I realized I didn't have my key. I immediately told my manager, and we were able to open the store after a while. And then I ended up grabbing a spare key. And on July 27th, I was fired for something that normally isn't that big of a deal.
I was cornered by management in the back room by my store manager over things like dress code, things that they weren't writing me up for, just having these verbal coaching conversations. And mind you, I was just wearing union pins. I had never gotten disciplined while working there. I actually had received Partner of the Quarter twice while working there in the year that I worked there.
What is it?
Partner of the Quarter. You know what it is, for excellent service above and beyond the call of the siren. I was pissed, man, like, for sure. I was mad. What's more unjust than getting fired for federally protected activity, right?
I have done this union drive to make the lives of my coworkers better, and they took this and spun it around and made it seem like I was trying to create this very toxic environment when it was a toxic environment towards the end, but it was not created by me. It was created by management. And on top of that, they tried to fight me for unemployment.
In material goods, they have cost me an incredible amount.
I completely emptied my savings just for money to live on. The 401k and like looking forward to retirement is one of those things that my dad has like taught me from day one and has always made very important. I had to cash that. It was like somewhere between a $3,000 to $4,000 penalty to cash that. And I'm now using that to live on. So I wiped out $2,500 in savings, lost between a quarter and a third of my 401k, and have already used about a quarter of what I actually did get back of the 401k.
I go to Arizona State University, which was previously paid by Starbucks for me. And when I got fired, they are no longer paying for it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to finish.
You know, I just graduated high school. I had graduated with honors in high school, and I had plans to go to UW. Unfortunately, because I was fired and had to figure out my housing situation and everything, I had to put college kind of on the back burner, and still haven't been able to go back. I had to find an apartment that fit my budget more. I am dealing with chipping lead paint in my apartment and mold, and I've been without hot water now for 10 days.
Obviously, without a job, you can't renew a lease, so I lost that place. Once my lease was up, you know, without like proof of income or anything like that, it's really difficult to find somebody that'll actually sign a lease. So I got denied by a bunch of different places while I was looking for apartments.
When you're fired from Starbucks for union organizing and being, like, I was the main organizer at my store, and when you're fired for something like that, they basically blacklist you from hiring. Like, I could not get a job at any of the coffee places I was looking at.
It does not end after you're fired. There is always more, because Starbucks just won't stop. Even after you're fired, they want to make sure that your voice is as diluted as possible. Recently, when they took me to an employment hearing, I had to miss an hour of work to go to that hearing, only to find out that Starbucks was not coming, and they just wanted to waste my time.
We're over 100 people who've been fired now, all going through a very similar or worse situation than I am. Thankfully, there's a workers relief fund that's working with Starbucks Workers United that was able to give me a stipend that enabled me to put first and last down on this apartment.
The Starbucks union has given me a national support system that I never had growing up. I felt like they have given me an actual family. I would not be able to keep doing what I am doing every single day if I did not have that. And I know that's the case for a lot of organizers in this movement.
I don't really have another job plan. I mean, I would like to go back to working at Starbucks. I would be happy beyond words just to get what I feel like I'm rightfully owed, which is what I have been denied the ability to earn.
In a way, I guess, being fired from Starbucks is a double-edged sword. It did create a lot of, just inner turmoil, a lot of anxiety. It created financial instability. On the other hand, it has also made me, more confident. In a way, I'm still, a very anxious person, but it has made me more willing to speak out.
Well, I'm looking at reinstatement for Starbucks, and once I'm reinstated, I will be working 2 jobs in hopes that I can get enough money saved up to go to college. I'm gonna work my ass off in college, and I'm going to become a labor and employment attorney. That is my goal, and I'm incredibly passionate about it, to make sure this doesn't happen again, because it's not fair. You're fired for something that, the reason I did all this was not to be a malicious, menace, bad kid that Starbucks is trying to paint me out to be, right? The reason I did this was because I cared about people, and I wanted people to not have to suffer every day to get by. And if I can recognize that at 17, 18, why aren't these 40-plus-year-olds who are firing me, why can't they see that? Why do I have to make them see that? These are people's livelihoods that they're destroying. And if a 17, 18-year-old can see that and a 40-plus-year-old can't, there is something wrong, very wrong.